So many people, Abby, live outside of Blaine County and work in Blaine County. So just to reiterate, people from Shoshone, Jerome, Twin Falls, and Fairfield will now all qualify?
Yes, correct.
Wow, awesome. All right, Abby, thank you. The Idaho Department of Land says more than 620,000 acres of land have burned across the Gem State this wildfire season. The department says Idaho has spent more than $39 million fighting fires this year.
And across the state, IDL recorded 271 confirmed fires. 121 of those were human-caused.
More people are evacuating in Cascade because of wildfires raging in that area. Fewer people than yesterday showed up here to the Ada County Courthouse, but the courtroom was still packed. Take a look at this video. He walked away during his birthday party. That's what happened.
Yeah, just devastating.
Oh, Abby, and you can hear the anguish.
Yeah, the emotion, for sure.
Yeah.
Abby, thank you.
This female healthcare desert that's being created by people leaving the state.
Yeah, they talk about maternal care deserts, and this is an issue all over America. It's a problem everywhere, but it's particularly exacerbated. Studies are showing by abortion bans. But prior to the abortion bans going into effect, a 2022 report showed about a third of Idaho counties were considered these deserts. And what that means is they lacked maternity resources, they didn't have hospitals or birth centers, and they had no obstetric providers in their areas.
Conditions certainly improving for firefighters, especially as we head into the weekend, correct? An Idaho Department of Correction officer who was shot and injured by a Boise police officer during a hospital ambush earlier this year is taking legal action against BPD. A claim filed this month shows IDOC Corporal Christopher Wilski wants the Boise Police Department to pay him at least $500,000 in damages for the March shooting. I think it's fair. It's a very fair critique, and we've also seen text messages from people saying, what about the victims, right? Talk to the victims' families. And I will say I did speak to a family member of one of the victims, Tanya Wyrick. She didn't want to go on camera, but she did provide me a statement. I included that in the story that's airing tomorrow night here on the news at 10. I will say, though, right after the execution failed, our Abby Davis did interview her, so you can find that interview that Abby did with Tanya on our YouTube channel. But going back to your question about the reason we wanted to speak with Creech, this was an unprecedented event in the state's history. Only a handful of people in the entire nation have ever survived a state-sponsored execution. This was something paid for by taxpayers. And we wanted to hear in his own words what that experience was like. After losing more than $1 million in a scam earlier this year, the city of Gooding says it'll get almost all of that money back. Earlier this month, the House Natural Resources Committee quickly introduced and passed an amendment authorizing 500,000 acres of federal land in Nevada and Utah to be sold or transferred to local governments or private companies. The legislation is part of Congress's budget reconciliation bill, what President Trump calls the One Big Beautiful Bill, containing sweeping tax and spending cuts. Reconciliation is a fast-track process Congress uses to make changes to laws to match spending, revenue, and the debt limit with budget goals that they've already agreed on. The reconciliation bill does have to pass through the House Rules Committee before making it to the House floor. The committee plans to meet tonight at 11 p.m. Mountain Time, 1 a.m. Eastern. But the public lands provision out of that Natural Resources Committee ignited major blowback. Many lawmakers and conservationists are strongly opposed to taking public lands out of public hands, and they worry this would open the door for the same thing to happen here in Idaho. Abby, those ranchers and all the folks who live out there, so resilient. I'm hearing from friends who have helped move other neighbors' livestock, who are staying behind to help fight that fire on their property. Abby Davis, thank you so much. Meantime, this snag fire near Cascade has burned about 7,500 acres. None of it is contained. Yeah, the conditions really have been perfect for wildfires. I know, Abby, you've covered 2 just along Highway 55 up near Avamore because, in part vehicle fires, right, play a role in that. We keep hearing from people thinking of new ways to help those that are impacted. What have you heard on that front? Advocates believe the number of reported allegations represents just a fraction of the reality. I reached out to the regional overseer asking to talk about the allegations of abuse and cover-up. Doyle Smith said in a statement they take all allegations of abuse seriously, and their, quote, paramount concern is that victims receive the professional help that they need. Yeah, Brenda, I asked about that today, and there's no definitive answer at this time. I imagine that will be coming in the weeks or months ahead, certainly ahead of the end of July. But we can compare it to the Lori Vallow Daybell case as well as the Chad Daybell case that were here in Ada County. In the Lori Vallow case, about 1,800 questionnaires were sent out to potential jurors, and in the Chad Daybell case, it was more than 2,000 questionnaires were sent out. And again, they whittle it down from there. But those individuals are summoned here to the courthouse to fill that out.
Come on,
I promise I'm sweet. I promise.
Oh. Give a kiss.
Oh, little pet.
touch her.